We're closing in on day 200, so let's talk about where the free-to-play is going. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here on the free-to-pause account. We're going to do a little bit of an update on the account. It has been a little while. I think it was pre-Titus Fusion where I said I was probably not going for it, where I really did the biggest update. And I've talked about a few things on the account in other videos as well. It's actually been pretty interesting, some of the progress I've made on the account. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the champions I have built, some of the ways I have worked on improving the account, and some of the progress that I have made, because honestly this has been pretty good for me to get through a bunch of new and interesting content and make waves and find things that are much easier than I expected, because I have finally been able to build out a decent roster of champions. I'm still filling out the roster a little bit more. There's some more champions I'd certainly like to pull, and there's some champions on my account that are certainly going to be worth building. Overall, I've made some pretty big improvements in the account, and I want to talk about it a little bit. So, looking at my roster here right now, I've got 33 6-stars. I have 4 chickens towards making my 34th 6-star. Who that's going to be, I'm not 100% sure. I'm actually kind of leaning towards Skaramis at the moment, because I've actually found him to be very useful in Hydra with his ability to do a provoke on a 3-turn cooldown, and the fact that he places this means that I can get it through Poison Cloud occasionally, which has been very helpful. The only reason I'm not a huge fan of him is this counterattack can make him vulnerable to having that counterattack stolen if I'm not careful. So I need to make sure I pair him with a block buffs champion, as well as somebody that might be able to shut down counterattack if I need to as well. But there's, a couple of other options. Ruella is still a very good champion. Ishiyama may prove to be very viable for me and a couple of other pieces of content as well, but I think Skaramis is probably the one who I'm actually been using as a 5-star in content, where having him as a 6-star would be a major improvement. I've gotten a bunch of champions here. As you can see, Syl is mostly done. In fact, I've got all of her masteries here, so I'm just kind of finishing up leveling her off. I've got her built fairly fast and very well in my Relentless build right here. I'm actually impressed with the amount of accuracy I have on her. This is a very good build, and she's proven to be very, very helpful so far, despite the fact she's not quite fully booked. I finally have this fully booked. I've got this mostly booked. I mean, this is going to be a big change when I can get this to that extra 10% to get that to a 35% chance to stun. But even the 25% chance on a double hitter for each hit has been better than I expected it to be. And then this is already proving to be very, very helpful. Would be much more helpful if I could get that up to the extra 10% there. So I need 3 more books on her. I'll get 3 more books in the next couple days, I'm sure, because you're doing pretty well on the clan boss. It certainly helps with that. And Brogni has been absolutely amazing. I definitely could use a soul for him. I mean, I was lucky I had a soul for Syl for a while. Brogni definitely could use that soul, but the fully booked Brogni built here, I've got 4-piece impulse here. So if we actually look at the gear, that gives me a 24% chance to reduce a skill cooldown by 1. So he can often grow his shield just a little bit more, or gets back to putting the shield up in the first place a little bit faster. And that is overall very helpful in him doing great things in my clan boss team, as well as other things. Speaking of clan boss, as you can see above me here, this is my new clan boss team. I have taken out Tagore and put in Brogni, and that has done a couple of things for me. This is 2 keys here, so I did not 2-key Ultra Nightmare today, but yesterday I 2-keyed Ultra Nightmare in this affinity for the first time, and I did 40 million damage with one of these keys, and then I did like 32 with the other one, which was enough to 1 key. Now these were both 30 million-ish keys, 31 million-ish keys, so that 40 million is certainly a little bit of an outlier, but I have an opportunity to 4-key Ultra Nightmare. But on top of that, for the other affinities, it's a very solid 3-key and not falling into possible 4-key territory. There was a chance with magic every once in a while I could hit that 3-key, go down from below 3-key to a 4-key if I had 4 really bad runs in a row. And with force, it was difficult to 3-key because I couldn't quite do enough damage. Well, now my damage bottoms up at about 22 million, which means for the most part, I should be able to 3-key force reliably, because I only need to do about 23.5 million on average to be able to 3-key force. So that works very well. The other thing that has actually happened happen though is for Nightmare, even if Nightmare is Force, I can now one key when it is Force. I can comfortably one key, in fact, when it is Force, and I have yet to fail to one key Nightmare. So that means I now can 3 key, 1 key 100% reliably and get the top chest. And if I can happen to 2 key Ultra Nightmare, I've got a chance to throw myself at Brutal, which is Brutal still got a decent chance of getting an Epic Book, getting a Void Shard, or just getting some other good shards and some other stuff as well. So getting that top Brutal chest as a bonus, if I can ever get that extra key, is absolutely amazing and a huge win for the account. Now remember when I was talking about using Skaramis at 5-star and wanting to maybe make him a 6-star? This was what I thought was my second best team in Hydra, and I did almost 40 million on hard. I did this actually live on stream yesterday. I stream on CatHerder on Twitch pretty regularly. Every once in a while I have to skip it, but that's generally my stream schedule at the moment, is just on that Saturday, aka CatHerder. I've stopped streaming in the middle of the week because my schedule for work has proven to be a little bit inconsistent, and oftentimes I am too tired after work to really be able to stream and still get everything I need to get done with this as well as other videos as well. You know, I appreciate you guys stopping by though. I love doing the CatHerder. We do takeovers for free, you know, and if you're looking for a paid takeover, I do paid takeovers as well. Check out my Discord. There is a link down below. I definitely appreciate the support and I love helping people out. My prices are generally pretty reasonable for a content creator. So this team here managed to do a ton of damage. And I think part of it is because I underestimated how much damage that Tholen does. Tholen just continues to smack and smack and smack and just did so much damage. You know, honestly, I'm going to think about maybe swapping a few champions around between this team and my other team. Mithrala also brought a ton of extra protection as well as damage. As you can see, she was the secondary damage dealer. Some of that is from the Hex and the damage spread that she's doing otherwise. Some of that is just usefulness that she has as somebody that is bringing a good cleanse and those extra shields for the extra survivability as well. And so this team did 40 million. I think next time I'm going to run this team on Brutal and see how well I can do. Now this was a team I ran on Brutal. This is my normal team that normally can one key hard with about 24 to 26 million damage. And Husk, as you can see, definitely a good damage dealer, and Tyrant's doing a bunch of damage here as well. I certainly could find that maybe what I might actually do is swap Taragi in for Skaramis, because I think Taragi brings slightly more useful stuff than Skaramis does to a team, but maybe not. I don't know. I've got him. I like my Taragi build, so maybe he doesn't, maybe he does, but being able to swap the two of them out will be very, very helpful. Tagore, generally a very good AoE reviver. Maybe it's time to swap Tagore out for Syl. At the time when I ran this, I had run Syl in a normal build and she was not fully leveled up, so it didn't make sense to use Syl yet, but Syl is slowly but surely moving into where Tagore used to, because she is a better healer. She also brings more on the waves with her AoE stun, as well as against the bosses with the turn meter control and the decreased speed. So I find that Syl tends to be a little more useful than Tagore. So eventually Syl and Tagore are probably going to swap places in a lot of places as well. That's another thing that might help keep this team alive, help do a little more damage as well. Husk definitely is very dependent on being able to hit and do a bunch of damage against max HP targets, which is why I thought he might scale better on Brutal than he did. Tholen is just a beast of a champion though, gets a ton of extra turns, also throws that weaken up, which can be very, very helpful as well. Yeah, maybe it's time for me to scoot these teams around a little bit and see what I can do. But the fact that I can get any chest on Brutal, as you can see, yes, I got the bottom warrior chest right here, but that's a bonus chest I wasn't even getting beforehand. And that's the same as a second chest right here and the top chest on normal. And again, with my little throwaway team right here as well. Where did it go? There it is. This was just a team I threw together to do some damage. And as you can see here, Syl was level 46. She didn't have all of her masteries. I don't think I had War Master on her even. Still kept this team alive, kept them going pretty well. And Tagore should slot right in here without really dropping too much from it. In fact, the increased speed might actually make this team a little bit better. So who knows? Quintus is actually an amazing Hydra damage dealer with a huge hitting A1 as well. Would be nice if I had some Hex in here as well, which I guess I do with Cleopteryx. So that's very helpful as well. So overall, not a horrible team, but you can honestly, where I'm at with the game, getting a team to one key normal with my third set of champions isn't too hard anymore, which is a great place to be with an account like this. Looking to start a brand new account in 2025 with Raid? Use my link down below, set up a new account with a brand new email, and you can start off with Elenarl, a wonderful legendary that can do all kinds of fun stuff for you. And at level 15, you'll also get a Tagore, a wonderful support reviver who has been a big carry for me on my accounts. You also use the code Demon Slayer to get Tholen as well, and to get Lemonisi at the moment, because Lemonisi is currently the free login champion. Start yourself off with 3 great legendaries and a wonderful epic, and enjoy starting a brand new raid journey in 2025. Now we're on Cursed City Normal because I just kind of want to point this one out. I'm actually pretty impressed with this one here. I have cleared 96 of the normal stages. I have not beaten Amius yet. This is kind of the team I've been trying with Amius. I have not quite gotten it to work. I'll probably continue to dive in a little bit to see if I can maybe get this team work. The big problem with this team is I only have so much revival, I only have so much healing, and I don't have a ton of damage. So it's very, very difficult to get him down in the right form because I also don't have any block healing available on him either, so it's been difficult. But that's fine. If I can't beat Amius on this rotation in normal, I'm willing to accept that. For the most part, it's just a couple of niche cases. For example, I don't really have a burner here that's built to any reliable standard that I can use to down this boss. If I had a burner, I probably could do this stage. And in fact, I guess I could certainly build my Chani up a little bit more. That would certainly be an option. I believe Carlinia has a burn on her A1 as well. It's not a great burn. So those are 2 burn options I could certainly try to bring into this and see if I can get them alive and have them survive the rest of the battle otherwise. Outside of that, I haven't had the burn to deal with that, so that's a struggle there. Not really had a good solution for the Scarab boss against this particular standard right here. I could certainly try to see if Lady Annabelle could outlast him. So far, I have not found that she does enough damage to really outlast him, and it takes about an hour to find out whether or not she can or not, so that is not super helpful. Now, Quintus can do a bunch of damage, and I could certainly try to figure out how to put some shields up, but as you can see, I don't have a lot of shield champions that are available right now. So without champions that are super available to keep everyone alive, as well as some ability to do extra damage here, it is very, very hard to beat the Scarab boss without just being able to out-nuke it, and I'm not at a place where I can do that on this account. And then finally, this floor here just has proved to be too difficult. I can barely get to the last floor, and then the last floor just wipes me out, and that's fine. I don't have to beat every single stage. I just don't have the champions to deal with, the hard boss here. I don't quite have the right ally attacks. I don't have enough multi-hitters. Yeah, I've got some okay champions here, but it's just not a great combination, and maybe it's just I haven't invested in all these champions as well as I could. But we're talking nitpicking here as far as things I haven't done on this normal rotation here. And overall, that's been great. It's been nice to get past some of these stages and just, generally be fine. Now, something I hadn't touched since the competition is Phantom Shogun. I touched stage 15 recently because I had the quest where I had to do stage 15. And I didn't push it to stage 16. I certainly could have. And honestly, I could try to push this team to 17. But this team right here does just fine on stage 15 so far. And in fact, I found that right now I am fast enough to outrun the Enfeeble. Now, Alice gets enfeebled, but she has the 5 stars of the soul, so she's not doing too much to get this counter up. The rest of these champions have enough blessings to, do something with the counter. And as a result, I'm keeping everyone alive, and it's not been a big problem. It's not a perfect team. It certainly is just brute forcing the boss down. I can actually do stage 15 with this account. I could certainly, move down to stage 17 and give it a try and see how that works. Maybe again, I can put Syl in finally for Tagore because I've got that revive finally quite where I want it. And Syl will bring an extra bit of healing, which will keep everyone alive. Probably just a little bit of that better than Tagore is. And that'll be fine as well. So maybe that will be very helpful. The other place that I'm certainly looking to push a little bit further now that I have Syl built is Iron Twins. I'm actually going to try to push to stage 15 and see if I can get my team to stage 15. Now, right now I'm already using Mithrala and I can't go in and show my team. In fact, let's go in and show my team. So right now this is my Iron Twins team. I swap out Alice for Tholen against Force. Against Force that makes some sense. Otherwise, it's pretty much been the same team. Mithrala is so helpful with all the extra poisons. Geomancer does a bunch of damage with the conversions as well. What will probably happen is I will probably move Mithrala to the front. I will probably put Syl in here as well to give myself some significant additional healing, as well as a better targeted revive and less buffs as well. Plus, I get decreased speed on the boss, so I'll have less of these problems with buffs actually ruining the team as well. So overall, that will have the boss taking less turns, we'll have more healing, and overall I think will allow me to possibly push up to stage 15 champion on possibly every different affinity. Again, swapping out Tholen for Alice, depending on what the floor is as well. Ugo is certainly a good option in general because of the additional healing and cleansing, and it gives me an emergency revive as well. And if I can push up to stage 15 in Iron Twins, that will be actually really, really good. And in fact, I kind of regret not doing it recently last night when my Syl is mostly ready to go to actually do this particular town. So otherwise, I've been farming stage 12 in Iron Twins. Iron Twins has been very helpful for me. That is part of the reason I have as many souls as I have, and that has made a huge difference in progressing this account. Talking about swapping out Tagore for Syl, this is one of the places I wanted to do it, and this worked really, really well. Now, I found that it didn't necessarily run faster, but what happened is once I got to the boss never got the shield back up because Syl brings not only some additional turn meter reduction. Now, she doesn't bring the increased speed that Tagore does, but she brings the decreased speed, which can be helpful. She brings turn meter reduction, which can be helpful. And those two things combined can help prevent this boss from ever taking a turn, where beforehand they were actually taking a turn, even with Tagore keeping some of the increased speed up most of the time against him as well. Plus, she brings additional healing, so she can keep people alive on the waves better. Plus, she brings the stun, and the stun brings more control against the waves as well. I do lose out on an attack against the shield because she only has a single hitter versus Tagore's double hit A1. But if I can bring the shield down, and I'm not having a problem bringing the shield down with this team, it doesn't matter that one extra hit on this team. So Syl's been very, very good here. Certainly didn't change which stage I'm farming, but it gave me some additional safety and security. And honestly, I could probably move into, I don't think I can get rid of my Ugo at the team at the moment, but I could certainly maybe, instead of going with my Geomancer here, maybe I could find bringing a second Cold Heart might actually speed up the runs overall. And now that I can keep my Cold Hearts alive a little bit better with Syl, maybe that will overall speed up the runs and just give me better runs, faster runs, and, speed helps when you're farming some of this stuff. Finally, in Faction Wars, I have 9 factions done. I've got the Knights Rev done, I've got Undead Horde done, I've got Orcs done, I've got High Elves done, I've got the Dark Elves done, I've got Sacred Order done, I've got Bannerlords done, and I have the Dwarves done. And I have Sylvan Watchers done, in fact, too. Don't forget those guys. Now, Shadowkin, I simply need to beat stage 21 and finish it without losing a champion. That is currently very, very difficult because of the champions I have. I have still one champion that's not even maxed out at 40. I just 5-starred another champion here, and I don't think I quite have enough damage against the boss to really nuke the boss down fast enough to be able to survive with those champions, so I probably need to get Ishiyama to 6 stars as well. And Taragi, been very, very helpful for that, is going to be very, very clutch. I honestly may swap out one of the other damage dealers because I've got a Chani doing some damage there. I might decide to build a second Taragi the Frog and run dual Taragi to try to make sure that I'm not dying against the boss, because I think that might be what I need to do against this boss. But that's going to be a very, very significant investment in books, and until then, there's a chance that I might pull a champion that might mean I don't need to do that. So until I'm really at a point where this is the last faction I have to go, I am not quite willing to build another Taragi just because I don't want to invest all of those books in another champion yet. Now, Barbarians, certainly doing a little bit better. I have recently 5-starred a Suai Firstborn. She's going to get built the next time the Barbarians pop up, or maybe I might just build her if I've got some of the silver laying around and we've got a gear rolling event. So that might be helpful as well. Between her and Aina, that should be enough damage for me to get through. And then Syl with War Maiden and is going to be enough just overall with Haikatun to speed things along. That should help me control the waves, heal myself, keep myself alive. 2 good damage dealers will give me enough damage to punch through waves where it's actually a DPS test. So the Barbarians hopefully should be done in the next couple of days. It's 5 days before this opens, and I don't think I can get 12 stars in just one run because I'm pretty sure there's other stars I need to clean up here. If I can, that's awesome, and I'm done with Barbarians. If not, I'll just have to wait until I can finish and clean up the rest of Barbarians as well. Regardless, Barbarians hopefully should be going down. I've got a plan and I've got the champions, and the worst case scenario is maybe I have the 6-star Suai Firstborn to get that much extra damage out to be able to do the Barbarian Crypt. Demon Spawn, not quite sure what I'm missing with Demon Spawn. I do have an Allure mostly built, and she should be helpful as well. Part of the problem that Demon Spawn has is I don't quite have enough damage. So I may need to build my Fellhound out a little bit more to do some some additional damage. I might need to rebuild my Marquess to do some additional damage. Between the two of them, with Tyrant keeping people alive and Allure and Dur the Hungerer, that should be a general rule for success in Demon Spawn, but the waves have proven to be a little more resistant to the damage that I can do. Particularly the Shiramani wave is very, very difficult for this particular team because I don't have a lot of huge direct damage. So until I get that huge direct damage, Demon Spawn is certainly going to be a bugaboo. As I approach some of these other factions, I need to invest in that one as well. Ogryn, doing fairly well. Bellower has been a huge carry here. I don't quite know what I'm missing in Ogryn, but I'm definitely missing something, and once I pull it, I should be fine, or maybe I just need to build out my Occult Brawler to be able to do a little more direct damage, make him a 5-star or make him a 6-star. I do have a pretty big soul for him, so maybe that's the way to go. Until I can get kind of a single direct damage dealer or a better AoE damage dealer in Ogryn, Ogryn is certainly going to be a little bit tricky at the moment. Skinwalker is literally waiting for me to get more healing. I need to figure out how to keep everybody alive better than they currently are being kept alive. I have the rare reviver as my only reviver in this faction, and I don't have a lot of healing other than I do have the Rhino, which brings some healing, which is not bad, but not enough to keep everybody alive. A Steel Skull would swap in for what I've got currently, which is a Flesh Terror or Fleshmonger, who's giving me the decreased defense, and that I think will give me enough extra survivability on everybody else to get through Skinwalkers just fine. But that's literally 3-starring the last floor, and that's all I need to do. Meanwhile, Lizardmen, honestly, I think once I fuse Rosin, I will have all the tools I need. I don't quite have enough DPS raw damage, but I certainly do need to make my champions just a little bit tankier as well. I just 5-starred Quargon the Crowned because he is going to be helpful for me and Lizardmen. I am also using Jizzo still. He's only still 4 stars, so maybe I need to 5-star him to make sure that he's not dying too often. It still doesn't give me a damage solution, and I don't have a lot of direct damage in Lizardmen at the moment, so Rosin may be the solution, because even if I don't have Rosin's AoE booked and I don't have him fully booked, Rosin can still smack fairly hard, and that should give me enough damage, as well as enough other utility in Lizardmen as well, to get through the Lizardmen faction with the champions I currently have. So hey guys, I appreciate you indulging me and letting me talk about this account. Some of the things I've accomplished on here are pretty surprising and pretty fun, and at the same time, there's things I've stalled at. Faction Wars, I certainly would have liked to have maybe been closer than I am right now to being done, but I am in the final stretch of Faction Wars. We're talking 900-ish stars, so I've only got 45-ish left, and I've got a plan for most of the ones I have with the champions I have on my current roster. And yes, there's a few of them I'm still going to have to pull new champions for, or fuse champions that are hopefully fairly accessible to be able to beat those floors. But there's plans and there's options, and I'm excited about it. Hopefully you find me going through this kind of helpful, where you can see some of the things I have focused on building out my account, and hopefully it can help you build out your account as well. I think that it is very easy to focus on not having the ultra meta champions and not realizing that some great champions here that are worth building that are pretty good. Morrigan is not exactly the top meta champion, but she's very good, been very helpful. Cleopteryx, not a champion I've used as much as I thought I might use her for, but there was a brief period where she was my number 2 nuker in Arena, and she was very, very useful. Brogni, certainly been power crept in the current meta, but Brogni has been very, very helpful for me. I eventually look forward to building a Titus team with Brogni, but Titus really hasn't entered into my idea of teams I can build yet, because I lack a lot of the other fundamental basic supports for building a Titus team with Brogni that would do anything of major significance. So honestly, I've chosen to focus on things that are going to give me account gains over the Titus thing, which will probably eventually be good, but certainly isn't going to help me as immediately get something like Lydia, who's going to transform this account. Investing in these champions has been fun. Whisper, champion I honestly hadn't invested too much in on my main, very, very helpful for me as well. Durandil, much better than I expected. Very, very good nuker. Was in my arena teams for a while. Still occasionally shows up in my arena teams. Been very helpful for Centranos wave clears and other cool stuff as well. I always knew Husk was pretty good, but I've definitely been again impressed with Husk. Morag been very good. Creodin. Champions like that are great champions to invest in, and it's kind of fun to have some of these champions. Even a Vergis, somebody I'd actually never built on my main. Still using this dude. He still does everything I need him to do for the Scarab boss in okay-ish gear that I threw him in months ago at this point in time. It's definitely kind of fun to see where you can get, what kind of gear you need, how how good I can build the gear with this level of account. It's become much easier to build some of the stats that I built on this account than it used to be even 2 years ago. And I know when I was growing up with my main and bringing it up, the stats that I have on some of these champions now would have made that account drool. I definitely am enjoying Raid. This account has certainly brought some fresh life into my view of Raid, and I think that this is right now some of the best time to be playing Raid, and this is the best kind of account to be playing Raid. There is easy to see growth, there are things to work on, there are things to focus on, and there are clear goals on the account and ways to achieve those goals, and I don't have to spend to do all of them either. Some of the stuff is just going to involve saving. I'm going to be saving up my gems for a little while, so I've got 700 gems now. Hopefully I'll have over 1,000 in the next week or two. I've got 75 ancient shards. I'm hoping to have over 80 for the next 2x ancients, because ancients is going to give me a chance to get some of the epics that will be impactful for this account. Just looking forward to build more interesting epics, investing in champions that I wouldn't invest in on my main, and exploring the fact that the raid, index and the raid list of champions is so diverse and so amazing. And speaking of amazing, you guys are absolutely amazing. Much love to you guys. In the comments, let me know below what you think of some of this stuff. Where are you guys with some of your account stuff? I've heard from several of you guys who've kind of paced yourself based on where my account is, where my account has spurred you on to make improvements on your account, or has been a good meter for how you can accomplish things on your account as well. Keep making progress on your account. Hopefully this inspires you to keep doing that as well. And, hopefully you had some fun going over some of this fun stuff with this account with me as well. So you guys have a wonderful day. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Much love to you guys all. Have a wonderful day. And until the next video, I am Bront CatHerder.